Good evening, Suicide Awareness team. It's Chris and Sally here. Sally, say hi. Today is day 21 of 22 of the Veteran Suicide Awareness Challenge. Remember, we're doing 22 push-ups for 22 days to help raise awareness for veteran suicide. Today's topic is something I call post-traumatic growth. One of my biggest concerns is that most civilians will think that every soldier is suicidal and wreaking with PTSD or post-traumatic stress disease. And I, for one, would like for that to be stop being called a disease or even a disorder or a syndrome, and labeling every soldier as that there's something actually wrong with them. I do admit that the horrors of war are going to change people, but life changes people, and everybody handles some of those challenges differently. And every soldier, whether he's been to combat or not, just from being a soldier and going through the training that you've got, you receive different, you perceive things differently, especially as you get older. War, though, I did notice some changes when I came back from Iraq. I know that, for instance, driving down the highway, I was nervous and anxious, and that was mostly just from the training. I had never been through an IED blast, but I was perceptive and I was looking for that kind of stuff. Even after I came back, I did realize I was doing that. After all the indirect fire, I did notice that when I came back, hearing backfires and things like the 4th of July when the fireworks were going off, I was wondering if I was the only one that felt a little uneasy, and I was texting some of my buddies and say, hey man, are the fireworks doing anything to you? And so it was comforting and for me to know that I wasn't the only one that was noticing those explosions from the fireworks and thinking that I needed to do something, some type of reaction to keep myself safe. And I noticed that I had more anger in some cases. There was an instance when I was walking down the El Paso airport, and there was a cute couple. They was walking extremely slow, but it seemed like they could tell which way I was trying to go to get around them, and I couldn't get around them. And for some reason, that was making me extremely more angry than it probably should have. Instead of being realizing, man, that's a cool old couple, I was thinking is, how do you know which direction I'm trying to go, and you keep blocking me? So in another instance, I became an OIC for a bunch of medics shortly after the 2009 shootings at Fort Hood, where Major Hassan shot all those guys at the soldier readiness site. Even today, I still harbor a lot of anger about how anybody could do something like that, not only to fellow medics but to other soldiers, and to have to go down there and sit in just right outside his office makes me pretty angry. But what I mean by post-traumatic growth is that through life's events, there's been millions of soldiers, even though the number of soldiers is less than 1% of the population. We have a lot of instances, and a lot of civilians, I'm afraid, may think that every soldier has got PTSD and every soldier is going to commit suicide, and honestly, that's not the case. There are millions of soldiers that have served in combat and came back and are much stronger and much more resilient, and they've learned to adapt to all these different challenges and to the stressors that they've learned to deal with. And that's what I mean by post-traumatic growth. So one of the things, the challenges that we've got to deal with, is being able to bring up some of those triggers and talk with other people so that you can learn to deal with those triggers and react to them appropriately. Below, I've put down another link, and it's another example of what I'm talking about. Remember that every one of our warriors are brave men and women. Every single soldier, whether you've been to combat or not, has value and has contributed to the defense of our country. And you have a lot more to contribute. So let's get after tomorrow's 22 and stop this tragic loss due to depression and especially due to suicide. And let's knock these push-ups out. Sally, you gonna do some push-ups? All right. Good girl. Dude, just push it. 21, 22, and one more for that fallen warrior in the sky. Remember, 22, every single one is a tragedy. 2-2, let's get after this. Remember, don't fight that fight alone. Let's knock this out.